let's just focus to vaccinations, and especially now when there is so much confusion about the gap between the first and the second dose of the vaccine, especially Covishield. India, of course, on Thursday announced that the gap between the two
And
doses has increased from 6 to 8 weeks to 12 to 16 weeks.
Because if you go by the data which Oxford University and AstraZeneca provided, which was published in Lancet, I think, uh, they did show that, see, after the first jab, from 22nd day onwards, till 3 months, you get enough protection. At least 76% efficacy for the first 3 months. That's why in UK they said give it at 12 weeks, because till 12 weeks you have enough protection. After that, see, first shot just initiates the immune response. It's the second shot which is a booster. So you don't have to give it immediately. But this is only in case of Covishield. And the trials that they did in UK, Brazil, South Africa eventually showed that when the second jab is given at 12 weeks compared to when it's given at 6 weeks or lesser than that, the efficacy is much lesser. It was 56% when given at 6 weeks or before that, and it was about 81% when given at 12 weeks. So that's why, apart from the fact that they were running short of vaccines at that point of time, and they were having a bad second wave, and they wanted to protect a large population with some sort of protection with first jab, which did make sense. So now, but if I read in the papers today that they've gone back to 8 weeks now in UK.
Yeah, yeah.
So because now they have this fear of this variant, particular one which we are facing in India, might be coming there in the future, and they, because majority of the people there have been vaccinated with the first jab, they want to give it the second one and protect them fully. So it all depends on the condition in your country at that particular point of time. But having said that, there's enough data which says that if you increase the interval of the second jab, in case of Covishield, the efficacy is much better. The data was there earlier also. That's why we went from 4 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks, and now eventually, because we might also be having some sort of shortage, 12 to 16 weeks. But at the same time, there's data also. It's not being done irrationally. So I would agree with that. And in UK, actually, one study says that now, even with the Pfizer shot, if it's increased the time interval of the second jab to 12 weeks, the efficacy increase, the antibody response is 3 times more, especially in 80 and above age group. So even with Pfizer, they now say that you can increase, though it has to be validated further with more studies. But this particular study in UK says that even with Pfizer, you can increase the time interval and the efficacy is more. So I would agree with 12 to 16. The data says 12 because we can tweak it a little bit, because we also have to see our system, our population, the kind of manufacturing we can do in the coming few months. And basically the fact that we also need to cover majority of the population with the first jab, especially the 18 to 45 age group.
yesterday, I just wrote an article exactly on the Lancet paper, which most governments consider as the authentic data for it. And it turns out that the data in it is extremely weak to justify a radical shift like this. The numbers are way too low, for actually making an honest opinion concerning the entire country. And the data is not. In fact, the article itself says that our data set is it may be biased. It is not randomized. It was randomly selected with patient groups. So it's when we're talking about vaccine efficacy, I am perfectly willing to say accept that the vaccine works fine if it's given at 12 weeks, and we've seen that it works fine when it's given at 12 weeks also. It's not as if it becomes less effective or something. In fact, the efficacy continues till as much as 20 weeks also, because I don't see why the vaccine efficacy should fall. And studies in the US have also said that it doesn't fall. It's fine even if you give it at 4 to 6 weeks. So that is one big, most people now with the constant changes in the scheduling have got confused as to which is the best time. If I had taken at 4 to 6 weeks, would I have I done a mistake by taking it at that time? Will the vaccine be protecting me now?
Bottom line is whatever 50, 60, 70, that doesn't matter. If it is more, if it's 80% or whatever, at 12 weeks, you go with that. Whether it's 50, 60, 70, doesn't, as long as less than 80, don't go with it. Having said everything about the first jab giving you enough protection, you're still vulnerable. You don't get enough protection till you receive the second jab. You're not fully vaccinated till you receive the second dose of a 2-dose vaccination. So first dose might give you some protection, but it's eventually the second dose which will get you through 6 months to 1 year. We don't know how long the immunity lasts. And we might actually need a booster later on also. Maybe the third shot you need 6 to 8 months, 12 months later, the way you do in flu. Every year you take a shot. Even Bharat Biotech is now doing a trial where they're giving the third shot also. The people who have already had COVID, I don't think they should be rushing in. They're too over enthusiastic to go for the jab right now. They can easily wait for at least 3 months because they already have enough protection to last them for at least 3 to 6 months. So 3 months, I would say they should not even think of getting the vaccination.
What about those who already taken their first jab with Covishield or Covaxin and now want to shift to Sputnik because it has higher efficacy? Does that work?
Well, I don't think that works, and the literature doesn't say that you should mix the vaccines. If you had Covishield, the second shot should also be of Covishield. If you had Covaxin, then the second, because the mechanism is totally different. This is a viral vector vaccine. Covaxin is an inactivated vaccine. Though for the Sputnik, you can argue that the mechanism is same. It's a viral vector vaccine, but it uses different vectors for both the shots.
Right.
And there are some studies where I think they're mixing the AstraZeneca vaccine and the Sputnik because the mechanism is same. I think the trials are going on. As of now, we don't know what eventually will be the conclusion of those studies, but we don't recommend.
There's a question coming in. Women planning to conceive, should they take the vaccine now or when? Planning to conceive.
Yes, of course, you can take it. You would also end up transferring some of the passive immunity to the child. Yeah, of course, you must take it.
If a person has recovered from asymptomatic COVID, in how many days he can go in for the second dose of the vaccine? So which means that the person got COVID after the first dose and then now wants to go in for the second dose. Dr. Tikku, we want to take that?
He can go for the jab 1 month after he's had COVID. But because he's had recently COVID and he's already had one jab prior, so even if he sort of postpones it by another 2-3 months, shouldn't be a big deal. So just because it was due on a particular date does not mean that if you take it a little later, then you won't have immunity or antibodies will not be formed. So if you had one shot, then you got COVID, I would say for 2 to 3 months, even if you sort of delay it, nothing will happen. In fact, the recommendation post-COVID still is about 3 months. Now the government is thinking about 3 to 6 months post-COVID. So you already have one shot, then you got the infection, you have enough protection for 3 months. So you just need one booster. Maybe I would say at 3 months.
96% of people are not going to get COVID again, right? 4% is the recurrence rates. So, there's no reason to rush into it. And especially at this time when vaccines are relatively in short supply. By next month, we will have hopefully more than enough stock of vaccines for everyone because with 2 or 3 more companies stepping in. So then I think, this question will die out.
There's another question. My son is lactose intolerant. He gets rashes and becomes breathless if he consumes milk and milk products. Under these circumstances, can he take the vaccine? I don't see the relation, but Dr. Tikku, you want to take that question?
He can take the vaccine. There's no relation between lactose intolerance and not taking the vaccine. The only absolute contraindication to Covishield is if you've been allergic to the first shot of Covishield. Other than that, if you have allergies, you definitely should talk to your doctors, but there's no contraindication. He can take. The people who have allergies can also take the vaccines, but if you've been, as I said, allergic to the first shot of a particular vaccine, then you should avoid the second shot. But other than that, if you have other drug allergies, food allergies, or any other kind of allergy, doesn't mean that you cannot take the vaccine. Yes, it's better to get in touch with your doctors or allergists and discuss it with them and then take the shot. But it's not a contraindication. They can still go ahead. They have to tell those authorities there at the center that they have an allergic issue so that they are well prepared and geared up. And other than that, there are all facilities available. They anyway monitor you for half an hour. In case there is something which happens, they can take care of it.
There's somebody asking, can we take vaccine if you have DVT? I'm not sure what that means.
DVT is deep vein thrombosis.
Okay.
It's a clot in the legs which happens. So you should not be taking the vaccine when you have DVT because there are certain issues with the Covishield vaccine where some studies or some data in UK showed that young women were getting deep vein thrombosis or clots in their legs. And if you already have clots, because COVID by itself can cause clots, or it's an inflammatory disease and it can lead to clots or pulmonary embolism, DVT. So you have to be very careful. So if you already have DVT, active DVT, then you should not be taking the vaccine. But if you had it in the past and you recovered from it, then there's no contraindication. With active DVT, then you have to be careful. Unlikely that you should be taking it. But again, just talk to the vascular surgeon or the physician who's treating you.